On the 9th of February, 2 South African engineers were arrested in their hotel room in 𝗏𝗏, the capital of Equatorial Guinea, and detained on drug charges. The 2 men were working for a Dutch oil and gas company, 𝗃𝗵𝗶𝘀𝗆 Offshore, and were preparing to return home when they were sent to the notorious Black Beach prison. A local news channel said they were in possession of cocaine.
No, never in my life.
That's not mine.
Equatorial Guinea is ruled by a dictatorship. There is no independent judiciary, and power rests with the president and his son, Vice President 𝗀𝗵𝗶𝘀𝗆𝗆, who is in charge of the country's security and prisons. A decade ago, a South African businessman, 𝗀𝗁𝗃𝗵𝗶𝘆, spent 2 years in Black Beach prison after a business deal with one of the president's family members went sour. On Daniel's release, he sued 𝗀𝗵𝗃 for illegal incarceration and suffering. 2 properties in Cape Town and a super yacht called Blue Shadow were attached. 48 hours after 𝗀𝗵𝗃's super yacht was attached at Cape Town Harbour, Peter and Frederick were arrested on the other side of the continent. Was this a cruel game of tit for tat? Within days, the men were moved from Black Beach to 𝗃𝗏𝗃 in Mongomo on the mainland, a maximum security prison known to house political prisoners. Since the 9th of February, Peter and Frederick have had no contact with their families, no phone calls, no messages. Jeline, Frederick's daughter, misses her dad terribly.
Elke dag as ek iets gedoen het, stuur ek vir my WhatsApp, al kry hy dit nie.
In March, much like the families, we were hopeful that they would be reunited soon. But recent sinister developments may have sealed their fate. On the 30th of June, a gaunt Peter and Frederick were convicted. They were sentenced by the Mongomo court to 12 years in prison and $5 million each in damages, with an additional $2.5 million fine to be shared. They were found guilty of trafficking and illicit possession of drugs.
Toe ons die video sien van my pa wat by die hof was dit regtig vir ons moeilik, want toe ons sien hoeveel gewig hy verloor het en hoe hartseer hy lyk, dit het ons harte gebreek.
Peter's wife, Kathy, was grief-stricken.
When she heard the sentence, she was almost hospitalized. She is devastated. She is really heartbroken.
Vanessa and her husband Francois have been appointed as spokespeople for Peter's family. They've been desperately working with 𝗃𝗵𝗃𝗃 to free the men.
Obviously, the first plan is to, and it was executed already, is to appeal to the sentence. It's unbelievable that a court can rule so harshly on two innocent people.
𝗃𝗵𝗃𝗃𝗃 Offshore has appointed a legal team to represent Peter and Frederick and has been in daily contact with the 2 families. In a statement, the company said it will continue to provide legal support to the men. But apart from their legal team and a doctor, no one has been to see them. The Department of International Relations and Cooperation said that the South African embassy has been illegally denied access to the prisoners, and that DIRCO is willing to engage constructively with the government of Equatorial Guinea. The situation is taking its toll. Peter suffered an apparent heart attack some weeks ago and was hospitalized. Dawn often symbolizes hope and new beginnings. But for Peter and Frederick's devastated families, caught in the middle of a political game, there's no knowing what the future holds.